Hey everyone. I know you know me from ATS modding videos, but I do occasionally get some products to review. And in this case, as I've done in the past, I'm working with fifine for another microphone introduction slash review. So, without further ado, we're going to look at the fifine K688, which is a combination USB mic as well as XLR microphone, which allows you to connect to a phantom power 48-volt device or just plug it directly into your computer and plug your headphones into the back of it. It's my first time using this type of microphone where you don't speak into the side but speak into the end. So it's been a little bit of a practice for me to adjust to that. So let's take a look at what comes in the box from fifine. Now, here it is on the website. I'll show you a couple of pictures in the background as I go through. However, in the box, you have a 5/8 inch to 3/8 inch adapter for any type of arm that you may have for your microphone mounted to your desk. Comes obviously with the microphone. It's included with a shock mount, similar to some of the other how the other brands are doing it now. In addition, it comes with a USB-C to USB-A cable, which is necessary for connection to the computer. However, it does not come with an XLR cable included. So if you are going to run it like a microphone in a more professional setting where you need an XLR cable plugged into a phantom power 48-volt device, you will need to purchase a separate XLR cable for that functionality. On the bottom of the microphone, you'll notice that there are two dials. Now, the microphone input dial will work on the XLR as well as the USB. However, the headphones will not function out of an XLR device. So you will need to plug that into another device, your computer or whatever you have the microphone plugged into with the XLR. So it will not control the headset volume with the dial on the bottom. As you notice, there is a headset port, which you can use in conjunction with the USB connection. It also has a mute button on the front face to allow you to mute it while using the USB style connection. Again, the XLR connection is meant to be used more professionally, so you would have a mute button separated or on the device that you have it plugged into. The overall build quality of the microphone is actually really good, and it has some weight to it, but it's not as heavy as some of the other cardioid pattern microphones that I've used in the past. You probably have seen videos of me with a number of different microphones in use, particularly blue microphone. I've used another fifine. I've also been using a Elgato microphone with, I believe it's called the Wave 3, which is also very good. However, it does not include a pop filter like this one has from the factory, which is also very nice because those are pretty finicky, and I've had to come up with a custom solution to the Elgato so I don't have the uh, kind of popping that their screen doesn't remove quite as well. I will say I did get the Stream Deck Plus with the XLR dock add-on in order to use this microphone. So if you don't have an XLR connectivity available to you, the USB functionality is very good. However, this mic, because of its positioning and that you have to speak directly into its end, is less sensitive to external noise than a standard USB style microphone, which actually gets the information from the around the microphone instead of into the end of it. So you will notice that this one will seem more quiet overall in comparison to background noise. So you won't hear me clicking my mouse as much as you would in another video, which is really important to me, especially because when I'm doing videos of how to mod your game and how to add certain things, I'm obviously typing and clicking a lot, and that can become distracting in videos and probably podcasts and other types of things that you would use this microphone for. So it's a good thing that they've added this functionality in this type of microphone for this mic, because it has the use of the 48-volt phantom power XLR connection. I've been using this mic for about 2.5 weeks now. I did, like I said earlier, pick up the XLR dock for the Stream Deck Plus in order to be able to use the 48-volt XLR connection. Now, not everybody needs that, of course. You can plug this, like I said, directly into USB. If you have a computer with a USB-C connection, you can get a different cable and plug it USB-C to USB-C without an issue. You probably have a phone cable that will work. All the new phones are USB-C now, so you can plug that directly into your computer if that's the only type of connection you have, and it will work great. It works very well with my hardwired headphones. The voice is crisp and it does not feel unnatural in any way. It actually seems like it sounds more like how I remember the original fifine that I was using, which was honestly one of the better microphones that I've used over the years, being that I've used, like I said, Blue microphones, uh, the Elgato, the um, a bunch of headset mics. I've used HyperX, Corsair, Steel Series. Obviously, the headset mics are a little bit less quality driven for the microphone. They're just meant for kind of talking to your friends while you're playing. But as a kind of production, uh, high end, middle high end microphone, this is an excellent solution for you. And I wouldn't hesitate to tell you to pick one up if you were looking for a microphone for either USB or XLR. Sure, there are better, you know, XLR only devices like the Shure M7, but if you're looking at a $500 microphone, you're not looking at this one. So when you're looking at kind of a more budget device that gives you many different options to connect to your PC in any way that you could possibly need, this device should be on your list. Like I said, sound is very good, very important to have this type of um, ease of connectivity. And to be honest, as we kind of scroll through some of this, I can show you another picture or two of how this microphone works. Now, if you'll notice, this is the pattern. So you're going to speak directly in to the end of it instead of the sides, like older microphones that I've used that are USB style. So here's a video of him showing how it plugs in. Additionally, it says you can also connect it to two different PCs. So one you could connect directly to your streaming PC and one to your XLR device, and it will also give that information to both devices, which is pretty cool. The Uh, the live monitoring headphone jack, very cool. Touch sensitive mute. And like they say, the XLR is the better quality connection of the two. This is kind of information that's like a little bit beyond and more looking for how to compare microphones. This really isn't a comparison video. It's more of like an ease of use. How did this work for you video? And um, aside from the initial realization that I would need an XLR cable, um, they're not that expensive, but obviously they're not going to throw it in there um, because it's more of a professional level kind of connection. So they're not going to throw you a $25 cable on top of their $70 mic for the same price, right? So those are the kinds of things that you need to look out for. There are certain microphone arms that this won't fit on unless you save the adapter for that specific arm. For example, I'm using an Elgato microphone arm, which has it goes from 3/8 to 1/4. So I had to use both adapters in order to get it down that far. But again, all of these things are a little bit more nitpicky because pretty much every microphone arm that you'll find on the internet has a 3/8 inch connection, which this one comes with. You'll be able to adapt down to that easily. Like I've said earlier and many times before, I think in my first fifine video for the other microphone, as well as the headphones that I reviewed a couple of years ago, um, the quality of these devices is actually really good. And the original fifine microphone, I still have it. It's being used by my wife, and it functions well. I've had it for almost 4 years now, no issues whatsoever. So the build quality is not a problem, and the connectivity is easy. And I wouldn't hesitate to recommend fifine to anybody that's looking for something that you need headphones, you need a microphone. In this particular case, obviously, we're talking about the K688, the in pictured below right here. Big thanks to fifine as well for reaching out to me as well as other creators to get their products out there and have a real honest look at these and how they function in the real world, and whether or not you're any old person can plug these things in and make them work easily and make them work well, and that they last. And like I've said before, I don't have any qualms about their build quality in any fashion, and everything that I've ever gotten from them has worked right out of the box with no issue whatsoever. And this one was the same, and I continue to look forward to working with them in the future. And I hope you will take this review introduction to this microphone into account when you're looking for one yourself. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.